Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Here we go, picking up where we left off yesterday, which is
Leviticus 25 is where we start.
25.
Getting through it, brother. We're getting through it.
Leviticus 25. Okay. Now, sis, I'm going to have you read because sometimes, it's one thing when people think, oh, this guy's interjecting what he wants. Right? So I'm going to prove to them yet again, that the law is the law and it reads so basic and so simple. People actually, they don't know it, but they're subconsciously saying that God is afraid to tell people the details of what to do because then people could change or circumvent what he wants. So we're going to read it and see what he wants. Because when God is talking, he's talking to a people that is not doing it. And right now we're not. Everybody's scattered in other nations, but we don't have our own nation and not accepted anywhere.
Right.
So these are the facts. If you go to Nigeria, if you go to Ghana, if you go to anywhere, they not accepting us as a people there. You can go there and stay for a while and make money. As long as you're giving them what they want and they're draining you dry, you can participate. Right?
Right.
But the moment you're of no more use, you don't have any sustenance. You've built nothing. So you don't have a country. And they'll remind you the moment you become, a little too rambunctious about your demands as being a people. So this is what, we're coming to work against.
Right.
We're working against that. We're saying you have to have your own autonomous. If you don't know what that word means, it's self-governing. You have to have your self-governing land. And if you buy that land, you can have it. Right? The problem with fighting for land or making war over land is, people will always come back and get revenge and remember, and it'll fester forever. It never ends. So if you make war for land, you're eventually going to lose that land to war. Right? And you'll say, well, what about, these colonizers, the tide is turning. Right? They colonize a place, and those people of those places will forever continue working to build and to grow and to fight back. Right? Now, these people, these colonizers, they're very toxic. They poison water and people and food. In the name of doing something good, they always doing something evil.
Right. Most definitely.
To make sure that their people have an advantage, to have a benefit. However, with our law gives everyone the advantage on their God-given territory. So there's a territorial boundary and everybody is entitled to it. It doesn't matter where you've lived now or in modern times. Everybody has a God-given land given to them. And there are many people still living on their indigenous God-given land, rightfully so.
Yes.
Okay? So even me, myself, right now, I am not rightfully living on my God-given land.
Right.
My God-given land is being colonized. It's in the hand of a colonizer. This is my rightful land. Okay? But I am living with my brother temporarily to move back.
Right.
So living in a Hashemite kingdom, we can continue to keep our Hashemite law, right? If you don't know who Shem is the son of Noah, and Noah was the one who brought everybody through the flood, right? He brought himself, right? And he had 3 sons. So you have 3 races. You have the Shemite race, the Shami, or called Hebrew. You have the Yafet, and you have the Chami. There is a fourth race that came, and this the sons of Og, who was the son of Cain, who was the son of the Nephilim, the fallen angels. He have no melanin, none. Okay? We have many complexions within the sons of Noah. They come everything from albino to dark skin. But this people is melanated. You know, they have the same gene. They're just albino all the way to dark skin.
Yes.
However, the Nephilim, you don't have this at all. Okay? You don't have this. This is Nephilim. So, this is what it is. I know somebody looking at me today saying, hey, this guy is, he's mean. I'm not mean. You know, my people don't poison indigenous people's water. We don't invade indigenous people's land. They don't want to. They just want to live wherever they are. But we can't live wherever we are in this mixed kind of way. It's not proper because there's always conflict.
Yes, it is.
And this conflict, it keeps you in a position to be oppressed. So we have to sort.
Yes.
And for those who are living in the camps in Atlanta that are literally camping out, you know, y'all bless you. You coming back to the Israelite traditional way in the camp. I appreciate you. And I'm not talking about the camps with the guys with the Power Ranger suits. There's people living in
Yes.
camps because they don't have the Section 8.
Yes.
So they camping. This is the real camp. How you doing? Should you guys want to join in and buy land? Because we buy land together as a group and we all live on it as a group. You can do that and travel here to the city of Amman, Jordan, and we buy land and we'll farm and grow our own food and, you know, get ourselves together. It takes a year to get land established with farming. It does take a year. You know, the first year is you have to sow and wait. It takes time.
Yes.
So, but if you wish to join us, come on. We need you strong campers like this.
Yes, we do.
These strong campers, we need them.
Yes, yes. Because it's going to take work.
Right.
You know, I think that's a lot of times what our people are not understanding. They want a microwavable way. No, it's going to take work. It's going to take time. We are returning back to our covenantal traditions. You know, that's what's written. These are not just our words. This are the instructions that are given to the prophets as well as to the law. So we must return back to the traditions of our fathers. And, you know, I know you like wearing your suits and sitting behind the desk and feeling important. But no, you can be more important wearing your overalls and your boots and be behind the donkeys, treading the land, and you're having wealth in a way that everybody needs it. You know, that's what I'm learning more and more, Robert Schick, as we study and as I'm learning that our real wealth is the possession of the land, not your fat bank account.
Right. That's not wealth at all. To be honest, it'll bring you to a state of poverty because the people who control that, the people who control that will take it from you whenever they see fit.
Yeah.
They can reset the board, reshuffle the deck, create something new, change this, change that, and you'll be left with worthlessness.
Yes.
This happens, you know, on many times. I know a lot of people think they already have and already know the customs and traditions. To those people, stay where you are because you have to prove it. Now, the proof is The proof of it is the results.
Yes.
The proof is in the results. The proof is not what you talk about. And knowledge is not power.
No.
It's not. You just heard something. Until you have done what is required to receive that thing, then you have not benefited.
Right.
You have not, it doesn't work. If I get in my car, I start it and I drive to the store, every time I do that, I prove the car is a transportation vehicle,
Yes. Yes.
right? If I go to the car and it don't start and it don't take me nowhere, I can't drive it, it is no longer a transportation vehicle. It is broken. So people have a lot of broken information. They believe it, but they have not tested it and it does not work.
Exactly.
So I've tested this through and through. I have land, I have acquired land, I have inherited land. I have done this repeatedly. Now I am taking the time to show you the process of doing it with you so that you as a people may have land. This is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
But I don't expect you to comply because the instruction says you won't.
Yes, it does.
I do have to say it. I do have to read it. I do have to request it. Because there will be some at some point in time
That we'll hear.
that will hear. However, it says you don't listen until you are in the storm.
Yeah.
And when I say in the storm, I mean when it gets bad and down and out, you're going to cry out for help and there'll be none to save you. So there'll be some who come out of that and will then come and say, hey, you right, we need to do this. So I'm just telling you way ahead of time, repeating myself because it's getting worse. And there will be none to save Black people. All the people you are looking to and looking at in the captivities where you are with you. Now you say, what captivity? If you're not in your own country governed by yourself, you're in a captivity. If you are in some scattered island, right? And your government has to work in league with these rogue rebel colonizer governments. If you have to do that, you're not in any type of freedom because all of them are going to fall down. And all these so-called rich people, only thing they're doing is maintaining this so-called lifestyle of leisure to their own demise and to the demise of their families, their friends, and their loved ones because they actually had the wealth to come and join in with us and build this and become the proper groomed leaders to govern their people. But they chose not to. You know? Like I said, people mention people like Dick Gregory and like Dr. Umar. These people, they are saying some basic truths. But the problem is at the end of their statements, they absolutely never discuss leaving and starting our own self-governed communities elsewhere. Right? They won't mention it.
No, they don't.
Right, so they'll stay there, and they just stay there waiting for and trying to fight these people into accepting them, trying to fight these people into giving them equal rights and a fair share and a fair shake, and trying to expose the history of the atrocities that these people have done. Well, now that you know about these atrocities, why do you stay? Why? It's a logical question.
Right.
Can we go somewhere else and build something else? Yes, you can. The leader of this cannot be extraneously famous and in the limelight. That would make him a target.
Right. He has to be hidden.
Has to be hidden. So it can be done.
You know, you have to ask yourself the question, why do you want these people acceptance so bad? Why do you need it? Why do you care whether or not they accept you? They're not the Most High. So, you know, you really have to sit and think and ask yourself, why do I want these people's acceptance? Why do I want these people to recognize me as being part of a nation of something when you don't even have your nation?
As if their recognition of the nation makes it legitimate.
Correct.
So this is the problem with the entirety of sovereign citizen and all that. It's a delusion.
Yes.
You don't need their recognition to be valid. The only thing you have to do is come in and organize. We are already here. We are already valid. Right? Now, I know the algorithm ain't going to pick this up. This ain't the hot take or entertaining. This is the facts of the truth. And this will stand the test of time. You will look back upon these videos and tapes and whatever it is that some people have saved. You will look back on this and you will be ashamed.
And you know, this is the thing about the getting a sovereign citizenship and all this crazy stuff. This how deep the delusion. You're getting this done, but you're remaining there, still subject to the law
of that government. Right, and how sovereign how they categorize sovereign citizenship and how it's supposed to work. You can't get away with nothing.
No.
You have to get away from these people.
Yeah.
Right? And you say, well, they over there too. No. They may be in conflict. You're at war. You're not safer over there.
You're dying.
You're over there in their hands, and they're saying, if you don't support us, we'll kill you.
Right.
We're over here, not under their hands, and there's a conflict going on. So we're part of the other side. So now we're on the other side of the fence saying, okay, while they're fighting to take this over against these people, and these people are resisting them, they're employing tactics, let them fight. They're allowing us to build under the cover of darkness. Because we have to build our own nation. If you build your own nation, then you will see the results. And then they say, well, how come you're not building with those of us who are already there where you are? You're absolutely right. So here's the difference of why we don't build with those of us who are already out here. Because some of the people who have already left, what they need, right, is they need a building. They need a structure. They cannot join in and support us because they're supporting themselves to just survive out here. And so without them coming out and preparing before they came out, they just subject themselves to the next government because they have to put food on the table, roofs over their heads, and maintain the lifestyle. They don't know how to go buy land. They don't know how to organize. So this class, they're watching these classes, but they are also waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting because it's not an everybody thing, but people have to get over the fear. They have to get over the fear. They have to come and join in together. But everybody's afraid. Different religious beliefs and practices, no law, no social structure. They don't even know how to recognize leadership when they see it.
Right. They're still wanting, even though they came out, the mentality is still of Babylon.
Right. So they look
Yeah.
for some type of Babylonian power instead of self-governance. And so you have to teach self-governance. This is something that has to be taught. Now you have to teach people to make judgments. You have to teach people to think within a certain community cultural standard. And you have to have law enforcement. We don't have law enforcement until we come together when we need it.
Right.
And you have to agree on crime and punishment. It's not what you feel. This is the crime. This is the punishment. There must be justice.
As well as the law does not change because something occurred and that makes the law change, like in a lot of places. No, the law remains the same. We all follow the one and same law.
And enforce that law.
Yes.
That law must be detailed. It
Yes.
must speak of the crime. It must have the punishments. You must have examples of enforcement of the law. And those enforcements of the law, which is how any law book is written, those enforcements of the law will provide justice to a specific people. So right now, people are living under Black's law. Black's law. They're living under this, right? So this law is the law that the people are under. So they're under this black magic. The law you subject yourself to is the magic, right? The magi are judges. So these magi is what you subjected yourself to. So you're under black mages, black magic with Black's law. This is the law of the European. Okay? Now, if you come under the law, which was given under Moses, then you're under Musa's law. The law of Musa's God, which is the law of the God of Abraham. If you come under the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, law, then you come under the Ishmaeli law, which is the same law,
but not as restricted.
but not as restricted as the children of Israel. So you can come under the Ishmaeli law, the Sharia court, the Islamic law, but this wasn't written for the children of Israel. This was written for the Ishmaeli, the sons of Ishmael. Now, we are sitting here, I'm reading you the law, which comes from Moses, that Ezra wrote, that Moses wrote, that was kept by Jonathan ben Uziel, passed down for generations. And I have taken the time out to spend 7 years living the customs and traditions so that I may teach you them, so that you come into the law with covenantal traditions. These are rituals and rites to be performed by those who wish to live and keep the law. All right. Well, that's the opening. We're going to come back with the reading after this. All right. So here we go. Let us begin. So we here in the book of Levi. I'm not going.
Yes.
I hate calling it Leviticus.
Yes.
We don't speak this. Lawi. book of Levite, for those of you who in the English tongue. All right. 25:1. And Yah spake with Moshe, saying in the mount of Sinai, saying,
Speak with the children of Israel and say to them,
okay, so we have the Most High telling Moses to tell you what to say. Okay, so what is the Most High telling Moses to say to them?
when you have entered into the land that I will give to you.
So they're not in the land.
No, they're not in the land yet.
Okay, so at this point in time, the children of Israel are still on Jethro's land. So they've crossed over Mount Sinai. Jethro's land is the same land around the area of Jabal Laws. Jethro is an Ishmaelite. This mountain is on Jethro's land.
Yes.
So the Most High says this Jethro land, this area here, you have not come into your land yet.
Correct.
Oh, but it's close. Yeah, just because it's close just doesn't mean it's yours. Our land is mixed, mingled together.
Yes.
The borders of which countryside? Jethro is down in the countryside, but in the border between Esau's land and Judah's land.
So that means because the original people are still there, that means they will be around us.
Right, they're around you. They're in, around, through, scattered.
Yes.
So, but if you go to Jethro's land, you on Jethro's land. You're not on your land. It can be right next door, but there's no provision next door. There's provision here, and you here. So this is where we are. So the Most High is talking to a people who have yet to come into the land. That's also you today.
Yes. Then shall the ground rest for a rest before Yah.
Okay. So when you enter the land, you're going to enter into it and the ground will rest. Okay. So when you enter the land, let's take a listen to this.
Yes.
The ground rest, there is a 0 point, a 0 year. Okay? You say, what? Yeah, there's a 0 year. So you're coming in, you'll be here, it'll be the year before a Jubilee year. So you're coming in on a Jubilee. Well, right before the Jubilee. Okay? So now you're coming in at this time, and that's for what reason and for what purpose? So that you have a marker.
Okay. 6 years you shall sow your fields.
Okay, so 6 years you shall sow your fields.
And 6 years prune your vineyards.
And for 6 years you prune the vineyards.
And gather in the fruit.
And gather fruits. Is that difficult to understand?
Not at all.
So he makes it simple. You come in on 0. You just got here. You're getting situated. You need to get in some houses. You need to do certain things. Get yourself situated before you start working the land.
Yes.
So the first year you arrive, you can't work the land yet because you got to have yourself and your people situated. Does that make sense?
A whole lot of sense.
Right. Nobody goes on the plane, gets off the plane, and as soon as they land, the first thing they do is get off the plane with their luggage and their suitcase, and they go into the office and start working.
No.
You have to get off this plane. You have to get yourself situated in the home, get yourself a little organized, right? There is a study that has to happen for these people so that we can get organized. So for the first year, we're going over this foundations again, but it's hands-on.
Yes.
We have to get the businesses, we have to join into the economy. So certain things have to be done
First.
before we can get into anything else. You can't do it. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you know, what it appears is because we think we know that we're Israel, that we think we're organized. And
No,
that's the delusion.
you're
We're
not.
not organized.
You're not organized just because you know the family branch you come from.
Right.
Once you know the family branch, you have to put proper people in place. They must be masters, and they can't be masters of every law. You can't be a master of the KJV.
Right.
You can't be a master of the NIV. You have to be a master in the Targum. And I say the Targum because if you're reading from the Tanakh stems from the Onkelos. Onkelos was a Jewish convert.
Yes.
What is that convert? So this dude, while we were in existence and knew everything, this guy was a proselyte. But he was only proselyting to infiltrate. And he took the information out and made his people be a certain kind of way so that they can come in line after the Romans had put us out and replace the people. Because the land wouldn't accept them when they came and tried to make it European.
Oh, yeah, the land has feelings. Understand that. The land does have feelings.
So you have to accept what that is. So now you say you coming in, you have a year to get situated. The same thing happened for Moses. You will have a year to get situated. It will be 0. So when the children of Israel came out in the Exodus, right? They had a whole year to get situated. They had to make everything. They had to get all the instructions, and they dealt with issues and problems, and some people died. But they came out in that year for Jubilee.
Right. Right. Because it was a year later before Aaron and his sons
It was that year.
was installed into
They were in that
office.
first year. Right? So you have 1 year. It takes 1 year for them to get everything and then install them before the beginning of the first year.
Yes.
So they came out, and you have this 1 year, and they building and they making everything, and then they installed in the office.
Right.
Then there's another whole year to get themselves acclimated and used to functioning in the new order. So it takes 2 years, but you can sow in that time frame. You can sow in that second year.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay. But in the 7th year, there shall be a rest of remission to the earth, that she may rest.
So the earth is a she.
Is a she.
The earth is a she.
Yes.
That she may rest. So she'll give you all the fruit and everything you need for 6 years. Right? They say in the 7th year, don't work up.
Yes.
Okay? She has to have a time of rest. All righty?
That she may rest before Yah. You shall now sow your fields.
You shall not sow your fields,
nor prune your vineyards.
nor prune your vineyards. So everything from the year before is collected, and for the next year, we're not going to sow our fields or prune our vineyards.
Now, this is what we call the year of remission.
This is the year of remission. That's why it says, it shall be a rest of remission to the earth. So it's a year of remission to the earth.
Okay, so with the year of remission, that's every 7th year, and then Jubilee is what's every 49.
It's the year after the 49.
Okay.
So the earth will have 2 years of rest in the Jubilee.
Okay.
So you have the year of remission to the earth and then a year of Jubilee in the 49th. It will explain it.
Okay.
No need to jump ahead. It's going to get there.
Okay.
So this is just dealing with the 7th year of rest. So what happens is if you follow this mechanical process, in the 6th year, the earth will yield double.
In the 6th year.
In the 6th year. So people say, well, why isn't the earth doing this now? Well, it's nonstop for you. You harvest everything and all you can all the time. And you're not even considering the 7th year. And not to mention, if you live in a country where they spray every day, I'm so glad I live in a country that don't spray us every day. They don't spray us at all. Whew.
Yes.
But they always spraying you if you live in the West. They always spraying you, and it's to kill your crops and everything else. So they're killing the crops because they spray them every day. These toxic chemicals and these micro particles and viruses and whatever else they want to spray you with. They spray you with it, and you allow it. You're not fighting them. You're not doing anything. You won't even weaponize yourself, because if you start burning down government buildings and say stop spraying, they would stop. Right? If you start throwing Molotov cocktails through government officials' windows, telling them stop spraying, they will stop.
So those of you that I have heard many times say, well, it's the same all over. No, it's not, because they don't do that here. So what's being done over there where you are in the Western world, it's not being done over here where we are.
You've never traveled. You've never got off your square.
Yeah.
All right. So you don't sow and you don't prune your fields. Okay?
The aftercrop which remaineth from your harvest, you may not reap,
Okay.
nor of your later grapes make a vintage.
Okay.
A year of remission it shall be unto the earth.
Okay. So you cannot harvest this year what comes after. You cannot harvest this year what comes later. It's a whole year. Okay, this whole year, you just leave it.
But the remission of the ground shall be to you for food,
Okay?
to thee, to thy servant, and to thy handmaid, and to thy hireling, and to the stranger who dwelleth with thee. And for thy cattle, and for the animals that are in thy land shall be the produce of it also.
Okay?
And thou shalt number to thee 7 Sabbaths of years, 7 times 7 years.
Okay, so now we're getting into the Jubilee. So now it's telling you 7 times 7 years. So in the 49th year, the year after is the Jubilee. Now I know somebody's saying, but the remission of the ground shall be to you for food to thee. So can you go out and pluck what you want today for food to eat it? Yes. What? So you can't go out and harvest the field and make business of it. There's no business. If you want something, everybody must go to the field and take what he needs for the day. The same for the handmaid, the hireling, the stranger, and for the cattle. Everybody on the 7th year must take it directly from the field. See, right there.
Yes, it is. It's right there.
But the remission of the ground shall be to you for food. So whatever you just going to take and eat for today, you can take that.
Yes.
So everybody is just harvesting what they need from day to day. There will be no waste because you're only taking what you need from day to day. Everybody go out, you take a little something and just leave the rest.
Yes.
You're only harvesting the part that you eat. Right? So if you're taking wheat, you don't need the whole thing.
Right.
You don't take the whole thing. You just take the tops and you collecting the wheat. And then you leave the rest.
Yeah.
Because the cow's going to eat the grass after you take the wheat.
Right.
they'll eat the straw. So you're leaving everything. Everybody's just eating from the ground, not picking fruit up off the ground to eat it. Meaning, if you want some fruit, you take what you need of the fruit today that's ripe, you pick it yourself from the tree. This is what we're doing. We're taking direct what we need for today, right? So now if you have a family, can a small group of people harvest for the whole family? Absolutely. But they're not harvesting it to sell it.
Right.
They're harvesting only what they need for today. And that's it. Because tomorrow you don't want, you may not want apples.
Right.
We're taking only what we need for today, and the rest, you leave it in the field, on the trees, or whatever. This is what we're doing in this time.
Yes.
So now when you see this, you see why it is important that each community have a nice spread of materials.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So that, okay, we need this. Okay, well, they need this. Well, let them come take this, and we'll send someone over there and take that and bring it back.
Right.
Like we're just making an assistance, just making an exchange, right? But they're taking what they need for that time. We're taking what we need for this time, and that's it. We're not taking a whole lot.
Right.
We're not going to waste the harvest. So you're not harvesting, take it to market and sell it. No. Everybody is going straight to the field to get what they want for what they need that day. The food is free this year.
Yes.
Free. Everybody take from the field. So now this idea of cities that we live in now doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. I mean, you can have small city with fields and everything around it, and everybody can get to the field and take what they need. But this idea of these termite mounds, everybody living like termites packed in the city, and there's no land, nobody's growing food nearby, doesn't work.
And days shall be to thee the sum of the days of 7 Sabbaths or remissions, Shemitah of years, 49 years.
Okay, so 49 years is, each 7th year is a Shemitah. It's a Shemitah, right? So these Shemitah, 7 sevens, each one is a Shemitah. And this, if it's 2, you got Shemitah, where we pass by 2 Shemitah, and the 7 is Shemitah. We know we in the 49th year.
And thou shalt make the voice of the trumpet to sound, a jubilee in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, on the day of the expiation. Thou shalt make the voice of the trumpet of liberty to pass through all your land.
Okay, so if you notice, the Day of Atonement. So watch this. So it is now 49 years. We're counting 49 from the month of Nisan. Nisan, this is the 49th year.
Yes.
But the Day of Atonement in the 7th month, so you go from 1 to 7, the Day of Atonement in the 7th month, this sound, which is in the springtime, because the earth moves from springtime.
Right.
So this now is 6 months later that you're sounding for the Jubilee year. So now half the year, half the year will pass, and it's just the year of rest where you're harvesting from the field. So you get the harvest from the field at this time like this. Now, the Day of Atonement comes, it's the fast day, they blow in the trumpet, and it's the Jubilee year. So now for a whole nother year to the Day of Atonement. So from Day of Atonement to Day of Atonement. Then the Day of Atonement marks the Jubilee start and end.
Yes.
But only half the Jubilee has passed.
Right.
So what happens next? Read, watch this.
And you shall sanctify that year, the 50th year, and proclaim liberty in the land of Israel to all the inhabitants. Jubilee shall it be to you, and you shall return every man to his inheritance, and every man unto his family you shall return.
So here's the law.
Yes.
So when you come to this 49th year, hey man, you got 6 months to get these folk together because everybody is going home, right? Meaning you go back to your land, you go back to your people, you go back to your country. We sending everybody home. The only people that will be here in the year of Jubilee will be the children of Israel, the Edomi, the Saudis, the Ishmaelis, and the Canaanites. Only these 4 people will be here. That's it. Everybody else, go home. Everybody have to leave. The land is resting. We resting. And you need to remember your roots. So we send you home. If you Irish, you're going back to Ireland. If you're English, you go back to England. If you from Rome, you go back to Italy. If you from
Spain,
you go back to Spain. If you from Africa, you go back to Africa. Everybody is leaving. You wife, you children, the whole family, the whole lot of you. Everybody's getting out.
yes.
So everybody can return to their inheritance. So now when everybody is out, this is a reset. Guess what? If I sold you land or loaned you land or lost my land, I get my land back.
Right.
I get to start over. So now everybody gets out because we have to deal with internal family ordinances. The Sanhedrin, the court, everybody have to discuss about land portions, and we have to look over the records and see maybe this people, they've grown, so they need more land and they can take land now from their brother who's shrunk. We adjust the borders a little bit. This is a family matter. It's internal.
Yes.
We just making the discussions, we make the rulings, that's it. You're not here, nobody, no outside influence. Nobody could say, oh no, but because this, no, nobody talk.
Right.
This is the ruling, we're making it like this. If your family was made small, you get less. You go by the border, you small, you can't even keep up with all of this. We need the land to be in use. These people, they've grown, so they'll get this. And the adjustment of the borders will be so. Everything is done by justice and not by desire, greed, or ambition. It's by justice.
Right. Proper weight and measure.
Just weight and measurement. Just. It must be true.
Yes.
Everybody is like this. We readjusting the land, and this is what has to be done. So let's read on.
The year of Jubilee shall that 50th be to you. Ye shall not sow, nor reap the aftercrop, nor make vintages of the grapes, which have been let alone. For that Jubilee.
So you don't make, let me make sure, this vintages of grapes. You're not making any wine. Okay? We'll be right back.
Grab one to the restroom.
All right, we're back.
You know, this something came to me. You know, when you were sharing about who will remain, Saudi, Ishmaeli, us, and Canaan.
Right, the Itzaki, which you like to call Hebrew Israelites, but the tribal name is the Itzaki. So the children of Isaac and the Ishmaelites. Okay, so you say, well, how come the Itzaki and the Saudi, they
Yeah.
both sons of Isaac, they both sons of Jacob? How come they don't keep the name? Well, the name goes to the one who have the birthright. So it goes this way. But the tribal, the Saudi, he's his own tribe, he's his own people. This is Esau. The Itzaki, this is the children of Israel. The Canaanite, they also remain, and the Ishmaeli. So these four tribes remain.
So to be clear, Saudi is Esau.
Right.
Okay?
So,
Yes. Esau. Yes.
Saudi.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Saudi.
You know, because that, you know, a lot of people are not too much aware who Esau really is. You know? Yeah.
So, you don't sow, you don't reap. So another year, this is another year of we don't plant,
Right.
and we don't harvest.
Right.
Nor do you make wine. That's it. You're not making any wine in this year. Okay?
For that jubilee shall be sacred to you. The produce of the field shall you eat.
So you go out to the field and you just take what you need to eat from the field.
Just like remission.
Just the same.
Same thing.
So people be like, yeah, you can't harvest. You're right. You can't harvest. You can't go out and clear the field out.
Right. You just go get what you need.
Just go take what you need and go home. You know you ain't going to eat 3 stalks of celery.
Right.
Okay? Take what you need
Right.
for what you cooking and leave the rest. Why are you taking a bag of onions?
You don't need
Unless you are feeding your family and whatever this dish called for, you need a bag of onions. You don't take a bag of onions. You take what you need for today. Everybody's eating for today. Just today.
Just like at your home, you might have a little garden. You know, you go out there, you need some parsley, you just get you some parsley for your meal that you're cooking.
That's it.
You don't harvest all the parsley.
All the parsley, you take what you
Right.
need just for today.
Yes.
Okay?
And
So this is important because a lot of people
Yes.
don't understand this culture and tradition,
no, they don't.
right? And to be honest, there's some the foods that will grow wild. Okay? So we have like plants that grow wild here, like hibiscus. This encourage you to eat the hibiscus and the wild mustard that grows. And you can add this to your food and you learn to eat from the ground. There's nothing wrong with taking directly from the ground.
Right.
So this teach everybody. Nobody is above this in this year. Everybody the same. We all go, we take what we need to feed our family, and that's it. There's no harvesting. So since there's no harvest, there's no market. There's no selling.
Right. So during this year and the year of remission, when we have our supermarket, we won't be open for that year, will we?
Well,
or how would that work?
When we open a supermarket, we getting started. We got to open a supermarket. We got to have a market. We got to get the
Right.
people settled. We have to build the building. So
Right.
this is 0 point.
Right.
We haven't sown anything yet.
Right.
Because we have to build for the people to come. Then the people come and then they can get situated. We have to put them in place, start working, and then we need the people to start working the field. So you have to kind of layer in your people first,
Yes.
and then you start working the field.
Yes.
So if everybody's worried about, well, when's the Jubilee? What's 0? What's this? Don't worry. You'll know when you get here.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
when you get here, it's not no work. There's work, but we not planting or we not working the field as of yet.
Right.
But in that first year you come, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have to get to a certain point because we come in Nissan. Half the year for the earth has passed.
Right.
The earth is in Tishri. So you came at the halfway point. So when you get to Tishri, you can start to plant.
Understood.
You can start to plant in Tishri. Why? Because you're going to need, it takes the earth a year to start to get ready. It just takes that much time. It takes time. You're not going to be able to do everything all at once. But if we are in the midst of building buildings and dealing with commerce and just getting ourselves situated, planting our fields, okay, well, guess what? Now you know, okay, for the first year we did this. The next year we start to plant and sow. But you can only sow in the springtime.
Right.
You can't sow in the fall and the winter. This is why the Most High is telling you in Tishri, this begin, this end in Tishri. This is a springtime. The earth begins in Tishri. However, our freedom, our springing forth will be in the fall.
So the earth begins in Tishri, and our freedom.
Our springing forth, our Abiba, right? To Abib is to spring forth, to leap out of. We come out always in the fall.
Okay. In this year of Jubilee, you shall return every man unto his inheritance. Now he have said this twice thus far. And when you sell cells to your neighbors, or you buy disposable or movable goods from the hand of your neighbors, it is not allowable for a man to defraud his neighbor.
Okay? So now you understand. So what are we buying and selling? It's movable goods. Food ain't on the table
Right.
because there's no harvest.
Yes.
You have to get it from the field. Right?
Yes.
Either you get it from the field or maybe you got some stores and some silos, but you not selling food. This is movable goods, couches, furnitures,
Right. Trash bags, you know,
whatever,
stuff like
curtains, fabrics,
Yeah.
materials.
Yes.
So you can't defraud your neighbor, and what that means is you can't oversell it,
Right.
right? You can't oversell it. The craftsmanship, the price of the craftsmanship is the same, and there's no defrauding. Everybody, there's no ribia, no usury.
Right. Right.
Everything will have a similar value. A shirt is a shirt, pants is a pants.
Right.
If there's extra work, okay, the extra work is accounted for, but there's not going to be this overpriced goods.
Yeah, you can't up the cost because you're not selling your vegetables and fruit.
You can't do no reasoning for that.
No, you can't do that. Sons of Israel, my people,
Okay.
if you sell a field or a vineyard according to the sum of the number of the years after the Jubilee, you shall buy of your neighbor according to the numbers of years for gathering the produce they shall sell it to you.
Okay, so this is important. So if you're saying, like I said, there's transactional land. So if somebody says, listen, I want to buy this land, and he says, okay, well, this land produces this, right? So you know how much it is to sow the land. So you're saying, okay, this is the value of that for the next 50 years.
Mm. Mm. So the value of the next 50 years.
Right. The value of the lands, what it produced for the next 50 years, this is the value of that land.
Man, okay.
So this is how you know what the just price is. So if you can sell, if this field holds a core of seeds planted properly, then that's the value of that land for 50 years. So it's a core a year. So you say it's 45. I think it's like somewhere, so 40 something, 42. It's 42 cores. So that's the value of the land. So he has to give you the value of the land, right? To make good on the what you're giving it for.
Okay.
So that's how you judge the value.
According to the greatness of the amount of the years, shall the price be enlarged, and according to the smallness of the amount of the years, the price shall be diminished.
Okay, so now I just said if it's one core, if this field hold one core of seed, he have to give you 42 cores. That's
Yes.
if he's holding it till the Jubilee. Now, if he only wanted for 6 years, then he only gives you 6 cores.
Okay.
If he only wanted for 14 years, he have to give you 12 cores. Why we not counting? You don't count the years of remission because he
Right.
cannot harvest it that time.
Right.
Okay. And I'm just saying to use the word core as in how much of wheat products, if he's growing wheat, that he need to give, right? So wheat seeds. So you get a core is a big crate. A big crate of seed, and that's how much it will be to sow this field, then he have to give you 6 crates to offset what you would have planted and sown for those 6 years for the land. That's what it costs to sow it. That's what it sows. This is what you can put here, and this is what you will get back.
Okay.
Okay? So again, this is the value, equal value, just value. So you don't charge the man what it would profit him. You charging him on what it takes to sow the field. This is important. So if this field holds a big crate this high full of wheat, right? Big crate full of wheat to sow this field. That's the value of that field for the year. Okay?
Yes.
So say he sows half a crate in the springtime and he does another half a crate because it yields twice a year. Okay. There's 1 crate a year. He has to give you 6 of them to get to the year of remission.
Yes.
In the year of remission, the land is returned back to me.
Right.
Okay? That's what I sold you for. You want to use this land? I'm not using it, or it's just sitting here. Okay, this is the amount. This is what it sows. Give me the 6 crate, and you have it for 6 years. And in the 7th year, it returned back to me, and I'll sow it in the next year.
Okay.
You can make business like this, but it's not profitable. So if I know if he sows 6 core, if he sows a core, I know he's going to get
Right.
You sow one core, I know you may get out of it 3 or 4 cores of wheat.
Right. Right.
Right? So if he sows one, I know he'll get 4 because you get more seed.
Seed.
From one seed, you get a bunch.
Right.
So it may get more. I don't charge him the value of what he may get.
Right.
This is the base value. And this is what I sell for. I'm letting him use it for this time.
Okay. Because he sells to thee the amount of the fruitage to be ingathered, and you shall not out overreach one man, his neighbor, by hard words.
Okay, this is another thing. This is what I'm talking about. Where you at? Verse what?
17.
Verse 17. Okay, so this is, you had the don't be enlarged, don't be diminished on the price. This is it. It has to be this. It has to be.
Right.
Right? Because he sells the amount of the fruitage to be ingathered. Okay, he sells the amount of the fruitage that's going to be ingathered.
Right.
So now, since we can't add or diminish, it's set, and that's because I have to make something. I don't come in and leave the same. Come in with nothing and leave nothing. I have to make a profit.
Yes.
Okay? Next rule. This law is incredible. And you shall not overreach one man, his neighbor, by hard words. So I can't insult somebody? No. You cannot insult somebody. You cannot call names or disrespect somebody with words. It is forbidden. It carries a very high and expensive penalty. By tradition, the penalty is 100,000 US dollars. Right? So, and this is accounting for the change in currency. So they say 300,000 shekels. That's $100,000 US. It is very expensive to degrade or berate a person with words. So it is not done for sport. It is not done by permission. It is expressly forbidden by all manners of the law. So we don't have battle raps
Boy,
where we disrespect the other person,
we've all been guilty of this.
where we shame the other person. We don't have these things for fun. We don't have these things for any reason. No diss records. No diss records. No dissing talk shows. We don't have these things. It is forbidden by law. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So you say there's no bullying? No. There's no bullying. There's no disrespecting of any kind. This is expensive. This carry a heavy fine. Right? So if your son does it, when he come back with the penalty, the family still have to pay. Otherwise, your son will go in to slavery, because slavery means he have to work off his debt. That's it. Slavery means you are working to pay debts.
So whenever Yah has said of us being enslaved or going into captivity, it was to pay off our debt.
Yes.
For disobedience.
Yes. Slavery comes and it's always you are working where it does not profit you. You are working to pay off debts. Now, US currency is debt. So you are a slave working for debt. Debt. Debit. Debt. It have no value. In order for you to gain or acquire wealth, either individually or in a group, you must have a resource and cause that resource to produce for you. What do we call fruits and vegetables? Produce. So if you come together in a group or you join with us as a group, we buy land and we sow and we reap the produce. When we sell it in the market, we receive profit. We take the profit and we increase our land. And we increase how much we sow into the land, thereby increasing our produce.
So you mean these teachings of chasing the bag is actually teaching to chase debt?
You're chasing debt. And in the end, this debt trap is designed to kill you. Okay? So first of all, you have to understand the debt trap. Let me explain the debt trap. The debt trap is very simple. They create money, or what we call money, M-A-N-E-H. That's the word we have. So money is money, money. Okay? Every government creates money. This money is to create trade value for goods and or services. You as a person are supposed to take the money after you've made the exchange of agreement and turn it back into a resource. You're supposed to take it, and if you receive the money, you can go and buy back land and produce again. You can take the money, you can buy and change it for gold or silver. This is what you're supposed to do with this. It is a transit thing.
Right.
In America, since there is nothing behind the money, right now you're only accumulating more debt. You haven't paid anything. It have no intrinsic value, only what you believe it to be. So we're at a very unique time in history. You have the opportunity right now to take this money and exchange it for a renewable resource, buy land before they commit this reset and leave you holding the debt.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Do not exchange this debt for the next debt they want to give you, which is the cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency has had so much corruption involved. If you get your hands into this debt pocket, you're asking to be destroyed. We'll be right back. So if you get your hands into this new fake crypto pocket, you're asking to be destroyed. It is still unjust weights and measures. And when they do the system reset, they have a plan and they have an anticipation. But the plan is to cut right underneath the 1% and allow the 99% to fall into chaos and die. So they're going to take the 1% and with a little cushion. What's that cushion? The organized military and army that they see is loyal and faithful to them. So that once this descends into chaos, into war, when the survivors survive, there's always going to be survivors. They will come back by force and by organization and take back over the people to have control over the population. This is the plan, right? The population right now is so powerful, so large, it cannot be controlled.
So they're seducing them into the debt in order to gain control.
To gain control. But we know their plan. And we have an instruction to what? Weather the storm. You have a ark of the covenant so that this storm, we will come out the other side and be the victors. So I am sailing on the ark
Yes.
into the storm. This law is my ark. It is telling me to win this battle, the only thing you need to do is buy land, house people, grow food, and be profitable in the market. It is telling me how to manage it, how to conduct it. This is my war. This is my battle. Because what's the one thing nobody is doing today? What is failing? The farms.
Yeah.
The markets. Everybody is going to work and they're doing stuff that has no produce because it doesn't meet the needs of the people. Everybody must eat. But nobody is working in food production anymore because the government
took that over.
Not that they took it over, is you allowed them to destroy markets. You allowed them to control food. You allowed them to make rules to slowly distance you. You allowed them to teach your children that it is more profitable
to go learn how to be a slave.
To go learn to be a slave, and that you need to acquire as much of this fictitious transfer paper. This is fictitious. We are commanded to make, as a king, I'm telling you, we are commanded. Every king is commanded by his forefathers from his God to make money, to make a financial system. But my God says the financial system is based on produce. Yes, we have silver. Yes, we have gold. Yes, we know how to deal in these things. But above all else, the thing that is the most sacred to us is food, produce.
That's why in our offerings
we offer produce
because it's the best.
So now this is what we're supposed to be doing. So now you don't have any leaders telling you this. I'm the only one. Go check every leader. Everybody will tell you how to play the stock market, how to sell crypto this, how to AI that. Everybody has a scheme and a scam. And I'm like, I can't function like this anymore. I can see through the bullshit. And only thing I see to survive is everybody who's playing this crypto market game, you know what they all got to do? They all have to go to the market and eat.
Yep.
So the person who buys land now and begins to farm slowly begins to get ahead because he will be the future king of his people
in his land.
So everybody says, well, how can I do it? Well, you can on your own. You can try it. But you're going to need some pertinent information. You need to know where to do it.
Yes, because you can't just do it anywhere.
Right, because you need to know where's the safe space? Where is the sanctuary that if I do this, I will prosper? This is where I come in. I am giving you sanctuary. That is, if you are of my people. Everybody else has to create their own. If they come in with me and my people, they have to abide by our rules, our system. And all of this stems from, you saw this hard words, right? So we started on hard words, and it was you can't insult, and I went this whole tangent.
But it needs to be.
It needs to be said.
Needs to be said. But fear your Allah.
So this is the fear of God, that I don't insult a person. So I know if I see somebody insulting a person, this person does not fear God.
I am Yah, your Allah, and you shall perform my statutes.
So every statute, a statute by definition is a process, a way of doing things. So we have to perform the statutes.
Okay, so the statutes is say it again.
A process.
It's a process.
The way of doing things. The statutes are systemic.
I laugh because it's clear that we abide in a systematic system.
And the people don't go from one system to chaos. No. There's one system, and then they have to go into another system. So if God's system is not prevalent anywhere in the world, then there's nowhere for the people to go. He will not destroy the other system.
Right.
Right? So right now in the world, the number one system is the Babylon system. Now I am giving you God's system. And I'm watching the Babylon system fall systemically. Every idea leads to something worse, and then they come up with a worse idea that they think is better than the last, and it helps to destroy them. They know they're being destroyed. They know the war is coming. They built the bunkers. They saw this coming for 10 years, but it was the most profitable system and the only one that they have.
Right.
They don't have another one. This system is given only to us, only to the children of Israel, and I am the only one explaining to you how the system works.
So
wait, hold on, let me explain this. This is one question. I have a question for you.
Okay.
So when Pharaoh saw that Joseph understood the instructions to create the new system, what did Pharaoh do?
He exalted him.
He made him the head of the system to be implemented over the people. Hi, this is how I become king.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, yes.
This is how I become king. I went and I read and I learned and I implemented and I understood the system. It came like water. It was natural for me to grasp it and to function and to prosper in it. Now I want to make you king. So you have to come learn the system from the king.
Right.
It's so what? I'm king over you.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I'm the head king over you as long as you king.
Right. So those of you who's ready to become kings and priests, you must come and learn from the king.
You know what's funny? That people say kings and priests and they don't understand that it's one and the same.
Exactly.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so within the children of Israel, we do have a priesthood. But even in the priesthood, there is kings. There is an order.
Yes.
There is kings. There is
Yes.
many
Yes.
kings and princes. Now, among the children of Israel as a whole body, to the whole rest of the world, you function as both kings and priests.
Priests. Mm-hmm.
You are a king, but you're teaching them. You are the priest. The whole nation works as the priest to the other nations. But it only functions when you're in the place
Nice.
and in the order given you.
Yeah, because what a lot of people don't understand, the kingship, the priesthood, and the birthright was all together in one person. They didn't get divided until when Reuben committed his sin. Then it got
That's
broken up.
okay. You missed what I said.
No, I heard
No,
what you
you missed
said.
it.
I heard what you
Because
said, brother.
listen, I'm gonna show you again. So within the 12 tribes, yes, it is divided,
Yes.
meaning that each tribe has an order.
Order.
But even the priesthood
Good.
has a king.
Yes.
And within the tribe, there's many kings.
Kings. Correct.
Right? Now, among the other 12 tribes, Levi excluded, the other 12 tribes are commanded to teach the nations.
Yes, they are.
They are emulating the same things as the priests. So they are the priests to the other nations. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, sir.
So if I'm in Judah and this person is from the people of the Aztecs, but they
Right.
want to keep our ways, traditions, and customs, they want to learn our law and our system. Me as the person of Judah, I function in the office of priest to this person.
Yes.
He's coming to me to make atonement, so I'm teaching him the system.
Yes, sir.
I am his priest.
Right.
But I am also the owner of my land and the king over it. So I am both priest and king.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So while it is divided, it is still one and the same. We have an order in the nation, but that order and how it is doled out is prescribed by this law. It's a statute. The process of working things.
Yes.
But the kingship and the priesthood, it is based upon the person and who they are conversing to.
Yes.
So when I am talking to a Levite, I am looking to him to function as my priest.
Right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
The Levite himself, he has to look to the high priesthood as functioning as his priest.
Right.
Right? This is where my teaching comes from.
Yeah.
This is where my understanding comes from. This is the person to make atonement when I make a mistake in understanding the instructions of the law. So now, to a regular person from another nation, to me, they are looking to me as the priest.
Yes, sir. That's why when we were setting up the school, the education, and you was talking about the administrations and how important it is that we as a collective know and understand each of the administrations, because
Yeah, you need to know where people need to go to do certain things.
Right. Because, like with Zebulon, okay, we know that Zebulon is over the ports, but it's imperative that we all know about it till Zebulon comes in position to be able to run it. Because you might be from Judah, but Zebulon is not set up yet. You may have to run the port until Zebulon comes together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's oh yeah.
So let me tell you.
It all works together.
So let me tell you a story. Okay. This happened in Iraq. This is while Saddam Hussein was in in power. So a man came there to live, right? And he went there and he was, he was a regular person, and then somebody stole his identification, his everything, and he didn't have no family. So this man was poor and he's looking for help. And so one man, this Iraqi man, give him a job, but he's make him like a slave. So this man is not getting paid. He's just working all the time, and he's stuck and stranded, and he has this terrible experience. Another man, right? This man, another man who was a Bedouin in Iraq, saw what was happening to this man and told him that this is not right. Told him it's not right. And he says, come with me and we will write a letter to Saddam and he will fix this. Now, the man who is visiting this country does not believe that there will be any solution. Saddam Hussein is the king of the country. He will not pay me any mind. I am poor. The man take it to the palace, pass it to one of the guards, says, this is a message for Saddam. Make sure he get it. This is the story about this man. And the man still went back to stay with this Bedouin man, waiting for an answer. Right? 1 week later, this man gets a message to come to the palace. The Bedouin man takes this man to the palace who was a slave. And they get there and they see the man who made him a slave is there. And they go into the room to discuss this matter before Saddam.
Woo!
The man is standing there and he is in shock. You see all the royal guard. You see all of these people. You see everything. And he is a poor man. And the man with him is a Bedouin man. They go and discuss the matter. And the man says, this man work for you? The man says, yes, he worked for me, but he don't work good. He this. Saddam goes, okay. How long this man worked for you? He says, he worked for me for 3 years. Okay. The man says, you worked for this man? He says, yes, I worked for him for 3 years. He says, what happened to you? He says, I was a visitor here and I like the country, so I stay. But in my stay, I lost my ID, my passport and everything, and I have no family and nobody to care for me. So I try to work to get the money for my passport and this and everything back. And this man, he make me work for him for 3 years and he don't pay me. I don't get the money. I get just enough to eat and, maybe some shoes, something, but not enough to help me. The Bedouin man, Saddam goes, what's your relation to this man? The Bedouin says, I see this man and he's worked for this man and this man, he make this man a slave. And I say it's no good. This man, he don't speak our language. He don't know our way and our tradition. And this man is making all of Iraq look bad. Like we're making people slaves to beat them in this kind of way. And I feel great shame. Saddam, listens to the testimony, and he says, first to the Bedouin man, I know what you're telling me is true. I have your letter. For 3 days, I send someone to go and investigate and see where this man was and what he was doing. I know you're telling me the truth.
That's our law with the 3 days when it
Wait,
comes
wait,
life and
listen,
death.
listen.
Oh my
He
goodness.
says, for 3 days. Then I called him to make this judgment. I know you're telling me the truth. I investigated. He put the paper down from the letter that the Bedouin man wrote. He says, I give you a gift. And he gave him some gold. Thank you for helping this man. You free to go. He said to the other man, the man who made him a slave, he says, arrest this man and put him in jail. He has to pay a fine of $1 million to get free. He will be in jail for 5 years, or he paid this fine. Either or, because this man made all of Iraq look evil. Then he took the man who was a slave and he said, take this man, give him everything he need. He give him some gold. He tell him, bathe him, give him the best clothes, anything he want, take him, give him everything he need. This man is my guest. He is allowed to stay as long as he want, and when you are ready to go, you free. This story, my teacher tell me. And there's a deep lesson in this story. You see, everything we read about our law, everything you are reading about the system, everything you are reading about governing a people, there is justice that must be rendered. And when there is no justice, there is no peace for anybody. I am from the West. I went to the same school Saddam Hussein went to. Saddam Hussein went to school in the United States Air Force to learn to speak English. They condemned this man, they killed this man, they mistreat this man, and ever since this country has been war-torn by these people. Then my people, who don't know any sense of who they are and how they get into this position or how to get out, they keep spreading lies about what it is to live on this side of the world. On this side of the world, yes, there's good and bad people, there's good and bad anywhere, but there is a justice. There is a justice. I'm trying to get you to understand what it would be like to be under this law with me. Because there is a difference. Anybody can read the book, but that doesn't mean that he can understand the instruction. Anybody, I give the book free, but that doesn't mean that the person will implement the law with mercy and with justice. This is how you choose your leaders.
Do you want to restart the?
Yeah, we're going to restart the video. We'll come back and we'll finish off this reading, I think.
Yeah. Because I saw where he implemented our law, but I also saw where we have been guilty to hide our eyes of the killing of this man, and we are guilty of that.
Again, this is not new.
Because it makes us partnership
You
in the
in
guilt
league in
of
the joke of killing somebody, and this man was innocent. Now I'm speaking against it because they didn't just do this to Saddam. They did this to Libya, to Gaddafi.
Yeah.
And I want Libya to one day be a good country again. And I'm
Yes.
hoping for Gaddafi's son, the Gaddafi Haftar, this new regime. I'm praying for them to do good things. And maybe in the future, we can work together.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You see? Because I don't know who will be in the next future, in the next wave, because this world is about to consume itself. It's about to destroy itself under the weight of the guilt of all the evils that it has performed.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the statutes. This is the process of doing things. So if you heard the story about Saddam, you can see that there is a process of conducting justice. One doesn't sit by and see the evil and not do nothing. You must bring this man to the court. There must be justice rendered. And everybody have to support the law of justice, which means you have to know
it.
the order of my judgments and do them. The next line.
Yes. And that you may dwell upon the land securely.
See? So the law will tell you the proper actions to think when the situation comes. And then we gather ourselves together and we do it together. Everybody supporting this one way so that we will be safe and secure, that we will have peace.
And the land will yield her produce.
Okay, we just learned this word. What is that? It's food. It's the yielding
Produce.
If you don't have land,
You can't yield.
you can't receive the yielded produce.
And you shall eat and be satisfied and dwell upon the land in security.
So the security
is in the produce.
is in eating the produce of your land. We have to do this as a community, as a people, as a nation. Join hands with us. I'm telling you, no lie. No land, no food.
No produce.
No food, no security.
And you're not satisfied.
You ain't never be satisfied.
That's why when people hit the lottery and getting all this inheritance of money, they're never satisfied.
Because the only thing you grabbed, right? You have something transitive, but you never turned it into a resource. Everybody's building 4 and 5 and 6 different business structures to do what? To accumulate debt. And that these people, when they built this debt system, there used to be gold behind it. They have run off with the gold.
So there's nothing.
So there's nothing there. You cannot take this dollar, go to the bank, and get gold anymore.
Right.
They stole your gold, and you're not up in arms. You're not burning down buildings. Put the wooden stakes in their houses and light them on fire. No, you're not doing that. You're sitting there saying, oh, the government. Oh, the government. No! No.
They're afraid to go to jail.
Oh, no, the government. No. Okay, you stole this gold? All right, we fix you. Join us, buy back land. We will eat. And now we don't need you. We can get gold another way because you buy food. You're hungry. We accept gold payments for food. Now you get the gold back. From what? Because they started it.
Yes.
Everybody got to eat. A man will sell anything when he's starving.
Yes.
What good is it to have something and you cannot eat to live? You need to eat for life. So now join us. I'm telling you.
But if you say, what shall we eat in the 7th year? Behold, we sow not, nor ingather even the aftercrop of our provision. I will command my blessings upon you from my treasures of goodness, which are in the heaven of my presence, in the 6th year, and it will create produce that will suffice for 3 years.
See? So now I'll teach you the deep magic. If you say, well, this is not enough, we cannot gather in, so we don't have for bread and for this, we cannot harvest. What will we eat? Because he knows this coming.
They act like he don't know what's going on.
No, they act like he's scared to speak.
Right.
Because people will change something. No, you don't change nothing. We here now. He said all of this and we still here. So if you say this and you're going to, oh, I know you're going to.
Yes.
Because the 5th year will come and you will say, oh, next year, it's the last year, we won't have food, we cannot harvest. What are we going to do? You will say this in year 5. I know this about year 5. But don't worry, because I will say, okay, sow again year 6, and I will see what the Most High will say.
Yes.
Then in year 6, when the harvest is bountiful,
this is more than I've gotten before. Well, he said it, that he'll create produce that will suffice for 3 years.
Now watch this.
But you shall sow in the 8th year.
So now here is the recourse.
Yes.
This is the recourse. Because you asked about how are we going to survive. Now we can't sow
right
until the 8th year. What? The 8th year. Now you can't sow to the 8th year. So now you have to wait the year of remission, which is the 7th year. Right? And now after that, in the 8th year spring, now you have to sow because you received the triple portion because you opened your mouth. See? Wait, this is the recourse. So before it was, you're going to see, okay, in the 7th year, we just harvest from the land. When does this work? This will work early because we won't have much cities.
Right.
But now you've grown. And now the cities, you kind of concerned now. We need food. We have to eat.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Now he make this miracle for you. But now you cannot sow because normally you would sow in the spring of the 7th, right? So the year begin for the earth in springtime. Right? So the 7th year that start, you don't sow in the springtime of the 7th. You don't sow when it comes up. So when you come around, since we start in the fall, we start later. So when we count and we say it's the 7th year has already started for the earth. We're 6 months later, seventh month later. Okay? Now, because he did this miracle in the harvest of the 6th year, now you cannot sow when the 7th year starts.
Right.
You have to sow when the 8th year starts.
But you shall sow in the 8th year and eat of the old produce of the 6th year until the 9th year, until the time of the incoming of the new produce shall you eat of the old.
So now we have to eat 2 years of old produce. Because since you have to sow now in the 8th year, it takes a year of working the ground to get the produce up.
Yes.
It ain't fast.
Yes.
So now you're going to have to eat now in the 9th year because you got a double portion, a triple portion in the 6th. So now you eating at the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th.
Yes.
And then in the 9th year, you'll eat the new produce.
And the land of Israel shall not be sold absolutely, for the land is mine.
Okay, listen to this statement carefully. The land is never sold absolutely, meaning you never have sole ownership of it.
Yes.
The land belongs to Allah. The land belongs to God. It goes to who he says it goes to, and that is all. It is absolutely his. Now, right now, you see the land and people fighting and this and that, and there's all of these issues.
That's why nobody can win.
Nobody wins because God gives the land to who he wants. How he wants is his. This is only his portion. It's not yours.
Yes.
That's right. You Jewish, that's not your land. It's not yours. You fake, you pretend. You the worst people in the world. Because it's not your land. This land belongs to God, and God give it to who he wants, and he's going to take it from you. He's going to take it from you. So the land cannot be sold absolutely, because that's the way you do business.
Yes.
This land absolutely belonged to the government, and the government says who and what and how and this. No. It's not like this. You did this in America too. You take the land from the Indians and you sell it and you own it absolutely. Even the Indian was like, what in the world is this? You buy the land, you come share. Turn. We move it like this in cycles. And you like the land in the wintertime, you have it in the wintertime. We take it in the springtime, you go over here, we move it. So there's no absolutely.
For the land is mine.
It belongs to the Most High.
For you are sojourners and guests with me.
Okay, so we guess with the Most High in his land. This is why you can't have none. What? This is why the land is by birthright, and the Most High says it's like this, and we make discussions and how we deal with it, how we sell it, how we make it. We are the Most High's guests on his land. I'm just a guest.
Guest.
The portion he gave to Lot, he gave it. This is for Lot. Right now, I'm sharing with Lot. I have a permission to be here, but it's a short time. I cannot stay long time here. No 100 years. No. No long time. Just a short time to get some foothold, get something together, some organization, and then go to my land. And I have to live according to his law on my land accordingly with my group of people.
Yes.
Sojourning. I live with the Most High on his land in this way. I don't care what nobody have to say.
And in all the land of your possessions, you shall let the ground have redemption.
So in the land of my possession, I cannot say nothing about the land that I don't possess. It has to be in my possession in order for me to keep the law upon it. See? This is why you have to buy it, so you have it in your possession. I have the documents, I have the stamps, I have the seal. Nobody can take it from me. Everybody here and around the world will support me in my land. This my land. And I will conduct my law upon my land. Whether I am in a stone palace or a tent, I will keep this law on my land.
And if thy brother hath become poor and have sold his possession, his redeemer, who is near of kin to him, may come and redeem the sale of his brother.
Here's a law of redemption.
Redemption.
So, we can help buy each other out of slavery. What does it require? Okay? What does it require?
Okay. But if a man have no one who is qualified to redeem that which he have sold, and it befall to his own hand to find the price of its redemption, then let him count the sum of the years of its sale and give the amount to the man who bought it and return to his possession.
So, the price of redemption to end your slavery, to end your captivity, is to buy the land.
Oh, goodness. So simple.
Whether you buy it, whether your brother buy it, whether you and your crew chip in the money to buy land here, you buy the land. No. Because people always think, I'm so deep in the scripture, I could debate and argue and this. Okay, so what's the price of redemption? What you have to buy? Land. You buy the land and you return to your possession.
Yeah.
So if you buy it as a group, then as a group, you buy the land, you prosper the land, you share it as a group.
Yes.
Until each member have what he need to buy another piece of land.
Yes.
So you have to come in together first. Then we saving up. Everybody's saving everything cheap, everything down amongst ourselves. But we making money. Everybody sharing. You store up your money. What you not worried about? You're not worried about food. We make sure we have a supermarket or some type of business to make money, right?
Yes.
You supply some need because, maybe we already have the supermarket building. So we don't need this. But because we're part of the group, we're not buying food. We making other business, hair, beauty business. We making clothing. We have clothing and fashion business. We sell to people what they want in the area. We make business. This money comes in. We always take this money. We buy more land. We buy more land. You move out. Take this land and put this food here, and we stop buying olives from these people over here. We make our own.
Yes.
We begin to support our own and support ourselves, each one providing what is necessary for the business.
So The redemption we receive is not about going to heaven
No, no,
or someone dying for
no,
us.
no, no. I no, no, no.
The
Listen,
redemption
listen.
is the
Hold on, listen.
land.
Let me explain this very carefully, okay? I am the Most High's angel on the earth. He made me for here.
Yes.
I plan to be here very long time. Maybe not forever, but long time.
Yes, yes, yes.
I have no wishes to leave here anytime soon. I don't want heaven.
Yes.
I don't know who want heaven.
Heaven, right.
I got heaven right here. It's right here. My heaven right here. It's beautiful. What are you talking about?
Yes, yes.
I'm in a beautiful house.
Yes.
With a beautiful view.
Yes.
Surrounded by beautiful people.
Yes.
My heaven right here.
Yes.
I don't want this heaven business where I die and you put me in dirt. And somebody take my wife.
Right.
My children go to the wind. I don't want this.
Right.
This is not heaven.
Yes.
That's hell.
Yes.
I'm not doing this. So the redemption of a man, and I'm talking to my brothers.
Yes, please.
You want out of America, you have to buy land out of America. You need to buy land. I have the birthright. It says here, right? But if a man have no one who is qualified to redeem that which he hath sold. So now you need to have someone who is qualified. It just said qualified to redeem the land you lost.
Right.
You left it, you sold it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, it's abandoned. Now somebody else lay claim to it. We have to get it back from them. I am qualified. I have a... Sis, did you see the paperwork?
I've seen the paperwork
Okay.
myself. Yes, I have.
Now you say, why don't you show the paperwork? No.
No.
This confidential.
Yes.
It's illegal. All right. So this is our last clip for today, and we might come back and film a part 2, but because this verse is very deep. This chapter
is very deep.
is very deep.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm telling you. So the price of redemption is buying the land. It says you have to have a man of a brother who is qualified. So for me, how did you get qualified? I had to go to my brother, the house of Ishmael, and I pay my money to get qualified. And I accept the rules. You must keep your law and your book in this way on this land. This is the customs and traditions. This is the way. I have to accept it. Right? And with that being the prerequisite of keeping this land, I accept. Now I have my land. Right? But you cannot go and join me on my land. Okay? It's a problem. It's an issue. Because the colonizer, it would be the same as you living in the Western government. But we need to establish a kingdom, and people have problems. They cannot accept kingdom in that environment. So I get permission to come into a kingdom environment where I'm allowed to establish a kingdom. I have the qualifications.
Yes.
So now I am now extending it to you. But this land is a lot. It takes a lot to do it. It takes a lot to build. I can't even build on my land without your help.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Even when it becomes open in the future. So the redemption of a man is just buying the land back. Okay, so we buy land here. Even though it's temporary, we're buying the land to get the skills, to continue making profit, and to keep redeeming our brothers. This is a law.
Yes, it is.
To redeem your brother, you have to buy back his land. And you have to chip in to buy it back. So you chip in, you buy it back for yourself. You come in as a group. We start a group project this group will make more than enough profit to buy and help the next group come in. And the next group that chips in, it goes into one pot and it becomes faster. It's exponential growth. So you start off and it's like, okay, we got one group, one piece of land, we got a little something, we got a supermarket. The next group come in, we build up something else. Maybe we make a farm and now they work on the farm and now we start getting their projects going. After 1 year, this grows up and we get more groups and we keep chipping in, but we keep reinvesting. And now we have all the land we need and all the people we need. Then all of a sudden, the Most High, he does something incredible. He gets rid of the enemies. We get the phone call. It's time to go to our land. So we send the first team over. They start getting ready. But we cannot do anything for a year. So we know this. So we don't just go over there. We send small group and get establishment and secure the area and prepare the land for us coming the next year. The next year we come in with the food and everything. And now we have sustenance here. This land that we did this now, what do? We use this as a satellite. This has become a school for training for new people to come in because they can't come into the land with the poison mindset. Nobody get a shortcut.
Right.
Everybody come in, have to learn the school, the training, the system. If they accept, if they don't accept, we know before they get into the land.
Yes, process purge.
They have to go through the same process. So now they get this, they come in, they learn, they accept, and they come into the system, they come into the land after they finish their training.
You know, listening to all of this, what has just come to my mind, those people, you know, those Jewish people, they didn't just steal our identity as the people. They've even stolen our Yah's business ways.
Some of them, yes. They use some of the practical businesses. They use some of the practical business theory.
Yeah.
So they're using some of it at a root or a base level.
Yeah.
But it's not 100%. You see, they forgot one rule.
Yes.
Is you're not allowed to use it on the blood children. You make a mistake. This curse you and your people forever.
Yes, it has.
Okay? You want to charge some other people some interest outside, you know, then you can charge this to outside. But because we suffered in slavery under you and in all your lands, now you have to pay a price for charging us. You see, you're supposed to have a mercy on the poor and the weak, and nobody give us no mercy. Never. They never show us any kindness or any support. They don't put us back in our land. They don't support us to come back. So now there's a price to pay for this.
Oh, yes.
So continue reading.
And let him count the sum of the years of its sale and give the amount to the man who bought it and return to his possession. But
so listen, it says count the sum of the years of its sale. Okay? So if we're buying land, you counting, okay, how long are we going to have this land in our possession? Because you may take a land for a shorter term period of time.
Right.
So rather than out and out buying land, you may buy a land for a 10-year possession and say, this is what I plan to do with it for this time frame. You understand?
Is that similar to like leasing?
Yeah, you can buy it, you can lease it.
Okay.
But instead of it being an annual lease, you say for the sum of years, I'm going to have this land for 7 years. Right? We're not planning on staying here forever.
Right.
And this may reduce the price of the land sale. Right? So if this man wants to sell this land absolutely, and he want to sell it for $100,000, we can say to him, well, we don't want it absolutely, but let us have use of it for 7 years for $15,000. We give you this money cash up front right now, $15,000. We have a contract for this land for 10 years. And he says yes. Okay. Now the person who's going to take use of this land, they still working to reinvest for the $15,000 to come back.
Right.
Plus the profitability for all the land, but you've redeemed yourself because you no longer have a debt. The land is working for you. It is investing in you and in your future. You have profitability.
Yes.
Now you can go in and take your lawful possession, buying back the land in your land for the next stage, because you will have the wealth and the substance. Because when you go into the land and the festival days come, you cannot show up empty-handed.
Correct.
And everything that you give and offer has to come from you, your land. You grew it.
Yes, and even we have to create our own money.
Right. And this is a time when you can do that, when you're saying, okay, the value of ours will be an equal value to this.
Yes.
Right. There's a law that governs the value. So in times past, our shekel and the dinar were equal. The dollar for dollar. The vegetable price was the same. It's equal, dollar for dollar. That way you can always have good trade with your brother. What's this? This is the Lot's land. This land belonged to Lut in Arabic, but it belonged to Lot. This is Lot and his son's land. Right?
Yes.
So all of this belonged to Lot, but we used to work together. We are family. There's an equal understanding.
But if his hand meet not with the price that he should give him, then the property sold shall remain in the hand of him who bought it until the year of Jubilee, and shall then go out without money, and he shall return to his possession.
Okay, so this is now talking about when you are in the land as well, because these same rules apply in the land, out the land, therefore redemption. So again, if you sell your land and you can't get the money to buy it back, or you loan out your land, you don't have the money to buy it back, no matter what happens in the Jubilee, in the 50th year, you'll be able to come back to your land. And this is for the judges to make a ruling on that you have the land and it be done with.
Okay.
That you have a judgment to take it back. And that's why I said there's a lot of legal matters that happen in the Jubilee year, because we have to undo a lot of things that have been done business wise.
Yeah, that's why everybody need to go back to their
Everybody
own
got to go back, because we have to deal with.
handle our family
We
matters.
got to handle family business.
Yes.
You not on this, not your land.
Right.
And all the foreigners have to go. Everybody goes. The land is going only back to the indigenous people every 50 years. And we have to work out all of these legalities.
And if a man sell a dwelling house in a town surrounded by a wall, it may have redemption until the completing of the year from its sale. From time to time shall be its redemption.
Okay, so this is if you're in a gated community. So if you have a city and it has a wall around it, it have redemption value too. So it can go back to the original landowner from time to time.
Okay. Laws of redemption. Okay. But if it be not redeemed at the completing of the full year, the house that is in a walled town shall be confirmed absolutely to him who bought it unto his generations, It shall not go out at Jubela.
Okay, so in these walled cities, these are cities now, like you're inside a urban setting. So what happens is if you buy or rent
Mm-hmm.
the property, right, and the original owner doesn't come back to claim it, it remain yours. So now this is like buildings. Like, so you're talking about there's a different thing. So it doesn't go out in the Jubilee. The original owner who had that land, who built it, and now you built this city. So now you have these properties. And if your children don't keep up with it or they forget about it and don't come claim it in the Jubilee, whoever paid for that apartment or that building or that lot, they get to keep it.
Okay. But houses in villages which have no walls round about them are to be accounted as tents.
So again, if you're out in the field, then you're talking about this land. Now we're not talking about it's the difference of a small lot, right? You're talking about, something an apartment building can fit on a small lot.
Yes,
It's
yes.
very small. Right. So now we're talking about this. It can be redeemed, it can be lost. This is very small. So if you're living in a metropolitan area, people will be losing. You can lose your building. You built the
Yes.
building,
Right.
and now you can lose the building because you didn't come and reclaim it during the Jubilee or after your agreements. So if you came and you make an agreement and you forget about it, or somebody don't take it because you were sick and there was issues, you can lose a building like that. But this is a small property. Okay? Small property. Now, when you're dealing with a field, this don't have no walls. This is a field. This is way out. This is a field. Okay? Any house in the field is considered a tent.
Yes. Which are spread upon the fields of the earth, they may be redeemed, and they shall go out at the Jubela.
Okay? So that's all fields. Okay? That's all land, if they have a house on it or not. If that land by law belong to somebody else, it goes back to them. And that's what I mean. So the Jubilee year, we have a lot of internal legal matters
Yes, we do.
that we have to sort through. We'll be looking at a lot of records, a lot of historical documents, and placing things where they belong.
But the cities of the Levites, the house of the cities of their possessions, may be always redeemable by the Levites.
Okay, so the Levites will have cities, and their cities will typically reside near the temple. Now we have a temple in every country. So in the country of Judah, in the country of Asher, Dan, Naphtali, in each country there is a temple. The same is just exactly like the temple in Jerusalem. So it's not like we have one. We have a temple, and then they have lands, islands that are near that temple to make up the 12 tribes, but it's actually all the princes' lands to get to the
Right.
temple.
Right.
Then you have their actual countrysides. Their countrysides, in the countrysides, each Levite is given a temple there for those that are native to those lands. So the Asher tribe will be on Asher's land, and that's where they are. Now, this temple, there's a city usually attached. And this is always redeemable, interchangeable. Why? Because the only people who want to be there or need to be there are the people who have to function
Right.
at the temple.
Right.
So they can get there. Okay? So that's what happens in their cities. I say this is a metropolitan area. So this is a city.
So it's like here how in each of the neighborhoods they have a mosque.
Yes.
And okay.
So, but this is it's almost like here, but in each of the neighborhood, you have a mosque. But instead of the people in that mosque or in that temple, right, that just regular people just living out here, it's actually just full of Levites.
Oh,
So they can
okay.
serve, because our temple facilities are not small. You have many houses of prayer. You're going to have a ton of masjids all over the place. That's a place you just come and pray, and there's an imam and a call to prayer, and people come there to pray. Okay, that's just prayer. Nothing to do with nothing else. But the temple service where we're doing sacrifices and other things, I mean, we'll be doing that at the masjids too. But the formal one, the large one, the one where the big festivals is happening, like you have like a Mecca, something like that, a Medina, Jerusalem, right? The big boys.
Yes.
So you'll have these big ones, and there's a city, and they have to get to service, because you have a lot. This is a 24 hours, 7 days a week service. They have to clean and mop and sweep, and there's a big service going on. So with all of this, you're going to need an armada, and they need a place to live. And since they're coming in, there's people coming in, moving in and out. There's always an exchange. So these are always redeemable from time to time.
Right. And it's redeemable by the Levite.
Right. So these are Levite housing areas, and they come in and they swap in and out.
Okay. And when one hath purchased of the Levites the house that was sold in the cities of their possessions, it shall go out at the Jubilee, for the houses of the Levites are their inheritance among the children of Israel.
Right. So a Levite may sell you his house near the temple, so you can, because you want to be near the temple for some reason. So a Levite may sell you his house. Well, in the Jubilee, that house goes back to him.
Okay.
Right? Even though, because he may only be there for a month out the year.
Right.
But in the Jubilee, you bought it. Now, in the Jubilee, you got to give the house back to him.
Right. But a field in the suburbs of their cities shall not be sold, for it is an everlasting possession for them.
Right. So the Levites don't have land. They don't have a nation. They don't have a countryside.
Correct.
That's a country that belongs to them.
Correct.
So when they get a field, right, wherever that field is, they cannot sell that field at all. So they have fields because they do have sheep, they do have lambs, they do have goats of their own, cows, and they do grow herbs and vegetables. They are not a major producer, but they do have produce as well.
Okay. And if thy brother hath become poor, and his hand wavereth with thee, then thou shalt strengthen and do him good as a guest and a sojourner. He shall be nourished with thee.
And this is where we're going to stop.
Okay.
Right? So if my hand is extended to shake hands with you, to join hands with you, right? So this is what they mean by your hand wavereth with thee. If I come together to join with you, to shake hands with you, right? To strengthen us as brethren, as a family, as a tribe, as a community. I have to do good for you, and you have to do good for me, right? As a guest and as a sojourner, he shall be nourished with thee. So I'm extending my hand to you that you may be nourished. I'm extending my hand to you that you may sojourn with me in this, take this journey with me and live in this law and live in this custom and live in this tradition as a guest. And even as a guest, but you are my brother, I'm saying you're a guest, but we will invest together in this way that we may have redemption. We just have to buy land and begin to produce.
Yes. That's simple. That's simple.
So I'm telling you to join hands with me. I have already experienced the success of this. I already know that, okay, this is good. We set this up. This is where we're going. Now I have to get us in order and an organization for us to get back to what I've already purchased for us.
Yes.
right? Because we have to go in there as an organization. There is
Yes.
no way for us to get anything established and it's all helter skelter. We have to filter out those who will not keep these rules before we get to that place, because
Right.
there's no excuse once we get there. We'll be on our land. There will be no more
That's right.
excuses for how our behavior is.
That's right.
The people who tried to go directly into the land and keep the law, they all fail because they fail to implement the fullness of the law and its system, not having the full understanding. So you have to come in and live the understanding, get it into practice, adapt to it. There's a time frame. You have to adapt.
That's right.
You have to adapt to it, make it your own, embrace it, see the benefits, and then move forward into it and now allow those behind you to go through the process. So you come in, you become a student teacher, right? Then you become a teacher trainer. Then you can move on and allow the next person become the teacher trainer, a student teacher, accordingly. So you move up, each one teaching the next one until we are finished amongst our brethren and sisterin, and we have taken back the land that we need. There's no more coming in. We can find no more.
Right.
We have full establishment here. There is a time to stop. Okay? So that's our teaching for today. This one is a doozy. We're going to come back with part 2. You'll see part 2 tomorrow.
Salam.
One step, one step.
Oh, that was